Hello, this is Deirdre Slowey, your Realtor for Life in Toronto. And today I want to ask you, where is the Grand River? Have you heard of the Grand River in Ontario? Until recently, I hadn't, but today we are going to resolve that question. And while we're talking to Jim Farquharson from Fergus, Ontario. Thank you for joining us today, Jim.
A pleasure. Thank you very much, Deidre.
So, Jim, where's the Grand River?
The Grand River is west of Toronto. It's about 100 kilometers west of Toronto. It starts in small little wee creek, goes Grand Valley, then a fairly sizable lake, Lake Bellwood, flows through Fergus, Elora, and then goes down through Cambridge, ends up down into Lake Ontario.
Okay, so let me I'm going to do a quick screen share of something of that nature. Oops, not that one. How about this one? So
Perfect.
this is the river, as you were saying, all the way down through Kitchener, all the way down into Lake Erie. That's interesting. So obviously that covers a lot of ground, and you're in the middle of that in Fergus, I take it.
Yes, you're right. Maybe the little bit of the northern end of the Grand, but yes, it splits our town in half. So we're always considering it was north of the river or south of the river when we're talking about Fergus or Elora.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about life in Fergus and Elora and these lovely towns. I know I visited some of them over the years, but you're the inside track on those.
Thank you. Yes. Population being about 32,000 people. Of that, Fergus is about 24,000. Elora approximately 6,000 to 7,000, and Bellwood only being about 1,000. Bellwood is kind of a little quieter, more of a 1 acre kind of a thing, subdivisions, but on good sized lots. And
well, we'll get to some of the real estate in a few moments, but we just want to see, just for the Toronto people who may not have ever visited your neighborhood, we're going to share some photographs of here we go. I believe this is part of your town in Fergus. Is that right?
It is, yes. There is the Grand River flowing over. And this is an old foundry, which has now been converted into a market square. There's quite a few stores in there. This is called the Beatty. William Beatty was an amazing guy. He employed many people in Fergus and Elora. And he was a creator, a visionary. He created everything from washer and dryers. Beatty, some of the older folk might remember those. And also he got into tractors and agricultural parts. And so this was his foundry. And the interesting thing is, from this big stack is underneath the ground there by where that bridge is. He, upon himself, said, well, I've got a lot of heat that I create here. So I'm going to create a duct system underneath the road, and I'm going to create a pool and that I'm going to give to the town. And so the be heated from my factory. And so that worked for years and years and years and years. Unfortunately, it finally fell into a little bit of disrepair, and now we have an in-ground pool, a beautiful pool, Olympic-sized pool in Fergus. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting. That's where I learned to swim.
So you were telling me, wow, you have an Olympic-sized pool in this small town. And you tell me also there's some condos going up across the street, or some new buildings coming into Fergus as well.
Yes. We have an awful lot of builders in the Fergus area. We have Tribute, we have Sorbera, you might recognize from Toronto area. We have two local builders, James Keating, he lives in Elora. So when a builder lives in your town, you know he's a good one, because
you know where to find them.
Say my basement leaks. And the other one is Steve Wright, and he owns Right Haven Homes. They're wonderful builders, both of them. and they're both very, very much hands-on,
Would they
and
do,
employ a lot of people.
about to say, would they do a lot of custom homes as well,
They
Jim?
do, yeah. Both of them are doing subdivisions right now. Yes, they also do custom.
Hmm.
That's where basically they started, was custom homes, and then they got more and more trades involved, and then had everyone that they had to keep employed all the time. So
Okay.
bricklayers and electricians and plumbers, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so then you mentioned also Elora is one of your close, how long, well, it's obviously on the river as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so it's a little
this,
bit downriver.
okay.
Okay.
What's
And
the
it's
distance you
only
think?
about 5 kilometers, maybe 4 to 5 kilometers. And Laura is a beautiful town. It's a very artsy town. So a lot of people who come to Elora come there because they've been influenced very much by either the visual arts or singing or
Oh,
playing in bands and instruments. And so there's a lot of creativity in Elora. Not that we don't have creativity in Fergus as well, but that is very much of a hub, I would say. So,
interesting. I love to hear that. I rather enjoy singing myself or in
me
choirs.
too.
So
Me too. I sing in a
there,
choir. Yeah.
okay. So that sounds lovely and certainly very different to hear that.
So it's attached to the Elora Mill, which has been there for a long, long time. Was converted into a beautiful hotel and a restaurant, but recently, about within the last 4 or 5 years, they've added a spa, and it is now ranked #1 in Canada and #2 in all of North America. So very, very prestigious place. Not It does take a few shekels to get in there. However, definitely worth it. And the
So a
spa
really
is
lovely
connected.
place, a really lovely place for a special anniversary
Oh,
or and wonderful chef, you said, with great meat, great food and wine.
yes. Yeah.
That would be
Great bars overlooking this sort of a waterfall there that's perhaps about 25 feet, I'm thinking. And yeah, so from the spa and the pools, you're right on the edge of the water. So you can see all sorts of wonderful things going on.
that sounds. It really is one of the most diverse communities I have heard about in the Ontario. Actually,
Yeah.
it's really lovely, and each of the towns are sound like they're close enough that if you lived in one, you could certainly avail of all the facilities in the other,
Yes.
and so a very different lifestyle for us Torontonians. Whether
Yes.
whether you're
And one
thinking,
thing I should maybe add right now is we have a brand new hospital just opened uh, in, let me see, mid of last year. We've always had a hospital here in Fergus for over 100 years. And the physician who was noted around this area, his name was Groves. And he was the very first guy in Canada that actually did an appendectomy, which of course
mhm,
I've had and
me
millions
too.
of people have had. The first person that actually survived an appendectomy. So he was from Fergus. And so they named the hospital after him. As they say, it was a little over 100 years old, so we had to build a new one, simply for heating and
Yes,
all the rest of the new
the
equipment that
building
comes with
infrastructure.
hospitals.
Mhm.
And
Well,
we're part of Rotary, and a lot of people have raised an awful lot of money for our local hospital.
well, you may not realize this, but the first 20 years of my working life was working in a hospital.
Oh, for heaven's
So,
sakes, there you go.
yes, so I was working and managing in diagnostic imaging, or
Huh,
it's called medical imaging or X-ray, basic. But
right.
so I've always been very important to me personally that if I were to retire to a new town, that it would have a hospital,
Yes.
and one that
Yeah,
was,
very important. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to, some days I'd love to go in and teach them how to do certain things the old way. But it's great to hear that there's new technology and it's ready and available. So if you're out there thinking of a retirement area, this would certainly be a great town to come and explore. if you're,
Yes.
and of course, if you're considering to buy a home there, we're going to talk real estate now in a second, but we need to remember Jim Farquharson and his wife Maureen are two excellent people to resources for you in Fergus and
Thank you.
along the
And
Grand
I'll
River.
also add my daughter Emily. So there's three of us on our
Oh,
team,
good, good.
and all three of us are brokers. So
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to move on to a little bit of the real estate you've got out there.
sure.
I'm going to share a screen. So can you see this, Jim? This is,
Yes. Yep.
um,
It's
tell us a
perfect.
little bit about this. Looks like a subdivision or?
Yeah, this is a subdivision just recently sold. It's about 4 years old, and this is a semi in the northeast part of Fergus, and just sold for 675. So to give you an idea, it's about a little over 2,000 square feet, and yeah, has had 4 bedrooms and 3 full baths and a lovely size lot.
Okay,
So
it doesn't look that as big as that, but 2,000
yes,
square feet
it sort of
is
goes back.
way
Yeah, so
back.
it's
That's
difficult to see the full size.
okay. So here we go with another one. This looks more of a 1.5 story, maybe. I'm not sure, or is it just a bungalow? You see that?
Okay, this is okay. Yeah.
236
All
Spencer.
right, there we go. Yeah. So
All
this
right.
one actually is in Elora, and it backs onto it is a straight bungalow, but a walkout bungalow at the back, and the back totally done. A beautiful, beautiful home, well over 2,000 square feet. Doesn't look it, but it is. And from the back, you look onto a 100-acre farm that will never be put into
Ooh,
subdivision. So a wonderful view
that's
with
nice.
deer and you know all sorts of nature, beautiful birds and whatnot. Now this we listed in November, and for 1,000,079, and within about 2 hours got 1,000,079. This
Wow.
is one of our very, very good builders, Steve Wright of Right Haven Homes in Elora. So when you know it's a Right Haven home, that means a
I
lot
see.
to local
I
people.
see. $1 million
Yep.
in Elora.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, now I'm shocked. I'm officially shocked. So I will move on to 230 Milburn Boulevard.
Sure. Okay.
And what is, can you see this property?
No, not yet.
Okay, take a
But
little
I
bit,
can.
it's taking some time maybe to
Oh,
load up.
there we go. There it
There
is.
you go.
Yes. Okay. And so this is in our south end. So it's south of the river. Very, very close to. It's a nice little subdivision, approximately 20 years old. Asking price on this was 624, and it sold for 640, and it does not close until the end of this month. Nice home. It's about 1,350 square feet bungalow with a pretty much finished basement.
So you just told us it started at it went for about 20,000 over asking.
Correct.
How many offers did that have?
This one had 4 offers.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you are getting used to multiple offers in.
We are, yes. It was something that we just didn't have,
Mm,
but within the last year, yeah, it's happening more and more and more
okay.
often. As people are trying to check out our neighborhood, and especially with COVID, being stuck in a condo, an apartment, whatever, but all you need is internet to. We have a fabulous internet system in here in
Oh,
town. The whole town has been done with the very, very, very highest speed of internet, so it's really good. Yeah.
wow. That's another question I'd forgotten to ask my previous interviewees was how good is the internet?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I've pulled up one last house for you to walk us through a little bit.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. This one is on Union Street West, so it's south of the river, but this one is actually on the river. So from this front shot, as you can see, it's fairly new. It's 15 years old, double car garage, and it backs. So the main level is nice and open with vaulted ceilings. These little windows up top in here are just simply to add light. There's no bedroom or no second floor, no story and a half. It's just a straight bungalow.
mhm.
And but the back of it is right on the Grand River. Is just spectacular. So you see in the summertime, you'll see people floating by on tubes, and also fishermen coming up and down the river. I mentioned to you that this part of the river is ranked in the top 3 of catching brown trout in North America. So people come from all over the world. We have bed and breakfasts are full all the time with people, fishermen, who are coming here, flying in from all over the world to catch world-size brown trout. Unfortunately, you cannot keep them.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's too bad. I do. I am rather. I grew up in the lakes in area of Ireland, and
yeah,
trout was a very common part of our
sure.
food.
Yeah,
So I've always liked it. So that's a pity. You can't
yeah,
keep the
it is.
trout.
And the last thing I should say is about the price of this one. Was too. So this one we had it for $8.99, and it sold for over ask. It sold for $9.20, and that just closed in December.
Wow. It's a very, very pretty house, and to be right
It's a
on the
pretty
river,
home.
it's
Yeah,
very pretty. I
yeah,
think that would appeal to a lot of people, uh,
yes.
indeed, and certainly to myself.
Hmm.
So that's an amazing run through of a very quick run through. I appreciate. If anybody else wants more information about Elora, Fergus, or any of those towns on the Grand River, obviously Jim is the man to talk to. If you're leaving Toronto, I would certainly love to talk with you and help you on get your move started out of Toronto. But just to recap, I mean, I think this is an amazing area. Grand River has got fishing. You can join the choir. If you're into the visual arts. There's tubing. There's bed and breakfast. There seems to be lots of employment, whether it's in the building or in new spas and whatever else is available to give visitors. It sounds like certainly a very all-encompassing uh, area that we could all enjoy at some time of our lives. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
and also the wonderful thing about this area is that they're very, very welcoming. It's everyone is amazed when they come into town that when you're walking along the street, everybody will say hi,
Yeah,
and so a lot of our people moving in think, what the heck is, all of the local shop owners will get to know your name very quickly, and they'll know your likes and dislikes. For example, the clothier, Maureen just has to phone down there and say, Jim needs a new pair of pants. And they say, that's fine. What color? We'll have it ready by 4 o'clock. And
that's
they
it.
know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's very lovely.
it's a wonderful kind of an old style, very welcoming and friendly. Great place to come. People feel very, very comfortable coming in.
Well, I definitely have it on my A list for as soon as we're allowed out of Toronto and allowed to move around freely.
Yeah.
I will be up to see you one of these days. Thank you
Sounds
very
wonderful,
much
Deirdre.
indeed.
Love to see you.
Thank you, Jim. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a great day.